Alright, what's up y'all? So today we are going to be finding the slope and the y-intercept from a table. We're pretty good with the slope. We've been doing that for a while. You've had to do it to figure out if a table created a linear or nonlinear function. So that's pretty, I wouldn't say easy, but it's something we've worked on. But we haven't really worked on finding the y-intercept from a table, and that's the point of today's lesson, both the slope and the y-intercept, because we're going to move into comparing slopes and y-intercepts from different methods like graphs, tables, equations, word problems. So we really need to know how to do this. So first, I'm going to fill in some notes, and then we're going to do some examples. I'm going to teach you how to do this by hand and by the calculator. The way you really want to grasp it is by the calculator because it'll save you so much time. All right? But we're going to start by hand for those people who like doing it by hand. But like I said, you want to know how to do this in the calculator because it's easy. So find a slope m from a table. We always know that the slope is a difference in y's, change in y over change in x, right? So first we're going to subtract the two y's, subtract their corresponding x's, and put the change in y over the change in x. Simplify. That's your slope. All right? Those are the simple steps that we've been doing, that we've been working with. So to find the y-intercept from a table, you have to find out how you get from one y to the other. What are you adding? What are you subtracting? Which one are you doing? Second thing is you want to find out how you get from one x to the other. Are you adding? Are you subtracting? What are you doing? And then you're going to do the opposite for x and y. And you'll see what I mean until you reach where x equals 0. Because as we know, the y-intercept lies on the y-axis, right? Any point that lies on the y-axis has an x value of 0, right? Because the y-intercept can technically be a coordinate where the x is 0. The y value when x equals 0 is the y-intercept. Y-intercept. And I'm going to show y'all what I mean. I'm going to do two examples for y'all, and then we're going to go with the calculator. So example number 1. Find the slope and y-intercept of the function given the table below. So to find the slope, this is all I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract these. You could do 2 minus 4 or 4 minus 2. It doesn't matter. And you have to do the same thing for the y's. So my first step, subtract the two y's. So 8 minus 3 is 5, right? 4 minus 2 is 2. So I subtracted my y's. I subtracted the corresponding x's. And now I have to put the change in y over the change in x. So the slope would be 5 over 2. Now I can't simplify that, but if I wanted to write it as a decimal, which I'm only doing this so because it's going to be written as a decimal when we do it in the calculator, is 2.5. But don't worry about that right now, okay? Keep it as a fraction. We like it as a fraction. To find the y-intercept, this is what we're going to do. So to go from, it says, so this is the slope, okay? We know how to find the slope. You just subtract, put them over each other. To find the y-intercept from a table, you want to find out how you get from one y to the other. So to go from 3 to 8, I have to add 5, right? Cool. To go from 2 to 4, I add 2. So now I'm going to do the opposite because I want to know the y-intercept. So I have to figure out when x is 0, what is y? So to go from 2, I have to go back to 0. So instead of adding 2 this way, I'm going to subtract 2. And now I have 0 as an x value because I subtracted 2, right? And then to go from 3 back, instead of adding 5, I'm going to subtract 5. So I'm doing the opposite to figure out what comes before that 2. What comes before the 3. And I'm going to keep doing that until I get to 0. Luckily for me, here, I got to 0 immediately. All right? So 3, so I did 2 minus 2 and got 0. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. So that means my y-intercept is negative 2. Y-intercept is negative 2, which is the same thing as your b. So this is m, this is b. All right? I'm going to do another example so y'all can see what I mean. So example number 2, I'm going to find the slope and the y-intercept. So the following table shows the total charge T of a cell phone after m minutes. Okay? So the more you use the phone, the more it costs. The company charges a fixed fee as well as an additional price per minute. find both the fee and the price per minute. So okay, we have a fixed fee, we have a price per minute. That means all we're looking for is the y-intercept and the slope. The y-intercept is this fixed fee. The slope is the price per minute, per. All right, so let's start off with the slope. All right, remember, we find the difference in our y's and the difference in our x's. So in a table, the left side is technically your x and the right side is always your y. All right, that's standard math way of doing things. All right, so 20 minus 17.50 is $2.50, 2.5. Okay, 30 minus 10, 20 is 10. And you know I put the change in y over the change in x. So my slope is 2.5 over 10. And I put that in my calculator. It simplifies to 0.25 as a decimal, which is the same thing as 1/4, right? We need to get used to converting between decimals and fractions. You can also put it in your calculator and it'll do it for you. So that's the slope. Now to find the y-intercept, I gotta figure out how do I get from one y to the other? How do I get from one x to the other? So to go from this y, 17.50 to 20, I have to add 250, right? To go from 20 to 30, I had to add 10. So now I have to backtrack to figure out, okay, I have to figure out, okay, how do I get to 0 minutes to figure out what that initial fee is? So I have to work backwards. So instead of adding 10, I'm going to subtract 10. So 20 minus 10 is 10. So I'm still not at 0. So I'm going to write that up in the corner. All right? 17.50. To get from 17.50 to 20, I have to add $2.50. So I'm going to backtrack and do the opposite. Subtract $2.50. So 17.50 minus 250 is 15. So at 10 minutes, it cost me $15. Okay. I have to do it again so I can get to 0. So I got to subtract 10 again. So 10 minus 10, I know is 0. Okay. I got to 0. Got to do the same thing here. 15, I got to subtract that 250. Right? Because I'm going opposite direction. I'm not going forward. 15 minus 250 is 12.5. So at 0 minutes, it costs 12.5. So that means my y-intercept, which is the initial fee, is $12.50, right? So at 0 minutes, you have to pay $12.50. And for every minute you use, you have to pay 25 cents. Okay, that's what that means. Now I'm going to show you how to do it in the calculator. That's by hand. Pay attention to the calculator part. It's going to make your life easy. All right? It's a couple steps that are already written for you. So I'm going to do example 1 while following the steps up here. So I have a calculator. I'm going to do it. So my first step says to click stat in your... Well, when you get a calculator, first thing I want you to do is to clear it out. Click second plus 7, 1, 2. And it should say something like this. Just click clear. All right. First step is to click stat on your calculator. That's your first step. So I'm going to click stat. And I see something like this. It's already on edit. So I'm going to click enter. That's my second step. Now I have L1 and L2. So in L1, I'm going to put in the X values. And in L2, I'm going to put in the Y values. So watch as I do this. It goes from 2 to 14. So 2, enter in place of 2. 4, 6, 8. I'm clicking enter after every value. 10, 12, 14. Then I go to the right to input my L2 values. 3, 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, 33. All right, those are my, so X and Y. So L1 is X, L2 is Y. Cool. Now I'm going to click stat again. These values came from this table right here. Click stat again. Go over to calc. Hit 4, this linear regression. And I'm going to click enter until it gives me something that looks like this. So it says y equals ax plus b. It says a is 2.5, b is negative 2. What do we find over here? Oh, before I do that, a is the same thing as m. Okay, so we're going to look at a as if it's m, the slope, b as if it's b, the y-intercept. So it told me that m was 2.5, b was negative 2. And if you look over here, that's what we got when we did it by hand. Cool, easy. So let me do example number 2. See if we get the same thing. So I'm going to go to Stat, Enter for edit. To clear out this L1, I'm going to go up to L1, hit clear, then go back down. Same thing over here. To clear out L2, I'm going to go up, hit clear, go back down. I'm going to input these values. So minutes is X, right? That goes into L1. So I go from 20 to 60. 20, 40, enter. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. My L2, 17.50, 20, 22.50, 25, 27.50. Then I click Stat, go over to Calc, hit 4, and keep clicking Enter. Some of y'all might not see that. You'll just click Enter and it'll give it to you. So over here we found that the M, the slope, was 0.25. Sorry, 0.25. And we found the B was 12.5. So remember, A is the same thing as M in the calculator. They just put it as A. Is that not what we found over here? Slope was 0.25. Y-intercept was 12.50. Cool. The calculator does it easier. You might think, oh my God, there's just so many steps for the calculator. But once you get used to it, it'll become so much easier. It'll help you a lot. All right? So go ahead, do your independent practice. How do I turn this off?